Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining again for our NetFlow Analyzer free training series, part 2. So today we will be discussing more details on the next part of the product, where we are going to deal with more advanced features that we have in the application. So we will go through them one by one. So we will be dealing with some fantastic topics that we have, and I'll showcase what are the features that we are going to that we are going to talk about today, because these are all some advanced features that we have implemented in NetFlow Analyzer. So first, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Arvind Lennon, and I am the senior technical consultant having 10 years experience in ManageEngine ITOM solutions. So I work with NetFlow Analyzer team as an consultant, and I provide support as well as consultation to the customers and have vast experience in taking trainings. So let's quickly jump on to the agenda of today's session. So in today's session, we will be mainly talking about the forensics, what kind of forensics reports that we have and how we can gain more visibility using our forensics reports. We'll deeply talk about the security analytics feature that we have in the product to manage your security threats that can hamper your network. Will also see the other features like the capacity planning and bandwidth optimization, and the other features that we have recently released as an advanced feature in ManageEngine NetFlow Analyzer. So first, to start with, we will talk about what network security is all about. So network security, when we talk about this topic, it can be a program or set of rules to protect the confidentiality or the integrity of the data and configurations in an enterprise network. So this is a simple example or a simple definition we can say for a network security. So when we hear this word network security by itself, it gives us a bigger picture of its severity in any enterprise for any security admin or an administrator or a network admin to maintain their network uh, from or to protect their network from any kind of attacks or cyber attacks or threats that can steal their the organizational data or do any kind of ransomware as well. So as you can see from this graph, you'll get an idea of what is the trend of the threats being happening in all around the world. So this is just for one of the criteria or one of the type of threat that can be. So there are different kind of threats that we were talking about. So this is only just for one of the criterias of those list of threats. And as you can see, it is just keep on increasing. So here we can easily understand, as our networks are becoming more complex and more wider uh, than the old age conservative network, we are more prone to different kind of security threats, because most of the attackers are finding out different new ways to find out a pinhole in your network, to enter it and to gain access to your confidential data, right? So let's quickly jump on to what details that we are going to see and why this security or network security is an important concept. So as I mentioned, growing network size is one of the reason wherein as we grow over the WAN and over the different geographical location as a company, we get we as an enterprise network, we get more complex as an architecture, and this architecture can have multiple pinholes all around, which can be easily accessed by an attacker and gain access to different details. So it is very important, only if you can know or if you learn the ins and outs of most common types of attacks, it can help you and it will let you know of what you are up against to, and it will be easier if you know everything. It will be easier for you to implement your comprehensive security strategy. So that's what we are going to talk about here, how we can build that security strategy. As an example here, so when we talk about an security strategy of an enterprise network, it includes these three types of strategies that mainly we talk about. So intrusion detection system, network behavior analysis, and firewalls. So as might be, these are all different architectures or different way it works in, but the main idea or the main concept of all this different kind of mitigation techniques is to protect the network from any kind of threats or security threats or attacks. So how NetFlow Analyzer can give you this visibility and how it can help you to identify such kind of attacks that can happen against your network. So first we will be talking about network forensics, and we'll see how you can gain the deeper visibility into your network uh, conversations that happens on different interfaces or the main interfaces of your network devices. And then we will talk about the advanced security analytics module, right? So just to give you an introduction, what the NetFlow Analyzer is, you might have attended the previous session as well. So, but just to start with the application, I'll just give you what the NetFlow Analyzer is all about first. NetFlow Analyzer is an bandwidth monitoring application, which is a comprehensive bandwidth monitoring application, we can say, and which deals or which gives you more details and more visibility onto your network uh, bandwidth and allows you to get access to the information on who, what, when, and where utilizing your bandwidth. By this, you can gain a detailed idea of how your network is or bandwidth is been performing, whether there is non-critical applications are being used or there is an attack or there is a multicast flood or different kind of floods that's been happening from your network device. All can be done with the help of the flow. So we support all different kind of flow formats supported by various different vendors like NetFlow, SFlow, JFlow, IPFix, NetStream. And not only that, right now we can say that we are having the capability of monitoring any network device in the network, even if it is not exporting any flows. So I'll give you that uh, good news at the end of the meeting, where I can show you what new feature allows us to monitor each and every network device, right? Right. So the importance of network forensics. So what the forensics is all about and why we are giving you more details and why we are stressing on this point, the forensics points, right? The forensics is one of the reporting feature that we have in our NetFlow Analyzer application, which give you in-depth visibility of your network bandwidth utilization, because this is generated using the raw data. Raw data is nothing but each and every flow that we collect from each and every interfaces of the network devices which are exporting the flows, which means that there will be no aggregation, and even the smallest of the conversation will also be recorded and listed up for your forensic analysis. And by that, you can troubleshoot your network better, you can troubleshoot and identify different network issues better. So this is a life cycle of what forensics does. So basically, it's an real-time monitoring which collects the information, as I mentioned, does the in-depth analysis for each based on each and every interface, and provides you the output with the detailed reports. So this is the forensics report, one of the screenshot I will show you in the application as well. So the forensics report that we have, where here we can generate the report with multiple criteria. We can have multiple search criteria, and based on that, we can define or we can get the adequate information that we are looking for. So let me just show you this information, how we can generate a forensics report in NetFlow Analyzer. So the first main part for the forensics report to be generated is that we need to enable the raw data in the application. So the raw data in the application can be enabled from settings, NetFlow, and we have something called storage settings. And to let you know, the version that we are using for this webinar is 12.14 12.5.217. So that is the build number. This is the latest version that we have released right now. So 12.5.217. Okay. So here under settings, NetFlow storage settings, we have something called raw data, wherein by default the raw data will be turned off. The reason for that is the raw data is one of the resource intensive feature that we have, uh, which uses or consumes your CPU memory on the server and also the storage, the disk storage on the drive where the NetFlow Analyzer application is installed. Okay, so we can store the raw data for a specific device or for all the devices, and we have certain options in here to manage your storage cleanup as well. So we have the option to maximum store the information for 1 month of raw data when it is turned on, and when this is on, you can access the forensics report for all the interfaces and for devices which you have the raw data enabled from under reports. Under reports, under NetFlow, we have an option called forensics report, wherein we can generate these the forensics data report for based on each interfaces. As you can see, so here we have the source devices which are exporting the flows. We can select any of the device like this or any of the info device and its interface for which we need to generate the report. We can have certain uh, search criteria to generate a specific report, or if you do not have any search criteria and you want to see the overall reporting, you can generate the report directly. Make sure this report generation can be only done for the time period for which you have the raw data, right? So when you generate the report, it will give you the information based on the 1 minute 1 minute data that we receive from that specific interface for the selected time. You can export this report as in PDF or CSV, or you can even email it directly from here to your email address as well as in report. We show you the details on based on application, source, destination, and deep dive on the TCP flags as well, with which you can analyze in deeper like what kind of TCP flags are happening for the each conversation, and you can even drill down to this flag to know what conversations are falling under which flag as well. We provide you the AS information as well, that is the autonomous system information, and the other details like multicast and MediaNet if there are any multicast and MediaNet information is coming in. And we'll also show you the next hop information. So these are all some advanced information that you will get from the forensics without any aggregation. And you can export, you can generate the report based on a search criteria and export this report. So by this, what we are showing you here is you can gain more visibility, detailed analysis for a specific type of network issue whenever we want to generate that, right? So, so that's about the forensics report. The next topic that we're going to talk right now is going to be the advanced security analytics module, right? So the what is advanced security analytics module? So advanced security analytics module mainly is a feature that we have inbuilt in NetFlow Analyzer application to detect different kind of security events that can hamper your network. So to give you an overview of what is happening, so how we do this in application is basically we read each and every flow. As we receive the flow, we each and every part of the flow, match it with the details that we have and analyze it and give you the output. So we will talk about it. So we detect more different kind of attacks here. So we are going to talk about 3 attacks mainly. Which is like the denial, the distributed denial of service, scans and probes, and the botnets. So as you can see, the definition, basically this is defining what an attack, scans and probes attack is, right? So when we talk about a scan and probes, here the main possibility is like that attacker tries to attack onto your IPs and ports for the open ports, try to hit continuously on those on your network for finding out if there are any open ports. And once that open port is identified, he enters into your network and get access to different servers or devices on your network. And by that, accessing your main and main information for your enterprise. So this is one of the attack type. Same way, the botnets. Botnets is basically wherein the hacker or the spammer sends out the sends out a spam, uh, like an email, or it can be any kind of link, something like that, sends out to you, and if someone clicks on it, he gains access of some of the features and some of the details onto your network. So that's about botnets. And this is the example, a clear example of what an DDoS attack can be. Basically, uh, having access, like the attacker tries to ping out each and every IPs on your network, and whenever once he and it can be and why it is called as distributed denial of service is because this man in the middle can have it just distributedly, it sends out the in ping connections or any kind of connections to allow the access to your main servers and getting into your enterprise by then blocking and choking your network, right? So these are all the main kind of attacks, main featured attacks that is a well-known attack types that the attacker does it, and it creates a lot of hustle to even identify and to mitigate such attacks quickly, because whenever whenever our network is prone to an attack, it is that means our enterprise is compromised by these attackers, right? So then, so here with the NetFlow Analyzer application, how we can help you to resolve this or quickly identify what kind of security events that are causing these problems. So basically, the advanced security analytics module, which is the name of our plugin or the add-on feature, or it can be, we call it as an attack in the application. What basically it has an engine, which we call it as continuous stream mining engine, wherein uh, NetFlow Analyzer receives each and every flow from each of your network devices, reads out the flows to identify the source IP, destination IP, source port, and destination port information. By then, matches it with various different kind of algorithm to identify if it is falling under any different kind of attack category, right? So this is how we identify different kind of attacks in real time to have uh, the zero-day anomaly detection, right? So this is real-time information, and we continuously, and why we call it as continuous stream mining engine is because we continuously read the stream of data that we receive from each of every active interfaces from your network, which are being monitored in the NetFlow Analyzer application for bandwidth monitoring purpose, and identify these zero-day attacks and different kind of attacks like DDoS, scans and probes and botnets, and give you the information in the UI, right? So basically, we categorize the classes, our problem classes in four major categories, which is bad source and destination, to detect or identify if there are any IP are coming in the network which are not in the normal range or allowed ranges. And then we also identify the suspect flows, like we can say an example of suspect flows wherein it like invalid DOS flows or TCP flood or something like that, DDoS and scans and probes. So each category, each problem categories are associated with various different problems based on which these categories are being defined in NetFlow Analyzer application. All right. So this is giving you an just a quick idea of how the advanced security analytics module detects the attacks and helps you to identify the attack situation even before it can happen into your network, or it can affect your network, and thereby allows you to plan your security strategy to protect your network from any kind of attack. So let me just show you this information in the user interface. So here we are again in the NetFlow Analyzer application, and we have the tab called attacks. And how to enable it? By default, this option will be disabled, and we can enable it under settings, and we have something called attacks under NetFlow, right? So when you click on that, you will have the enable ASAM option wherein you can enable. So right now it is enabled, so that's the reason it's giving me an option to disable it. So if I disable it, it will not work. By default, it will be disabled. You can enable this feature, and we have different options or the managing options and alerting features for the attacks as well, right? So let me just take you to the attacks feature first. So this is the UI view that you can see right now, where we detect each and every attack details based on the flows and show you the information. So here we have broadly classified the different kind of attack categories. So like suspect flows, or if you want to see what are the scans and probes, you can just click on that and you can see what are the problem events are happening falling under those scans and probes. And when you want to see the details of four of the top offenders and the targets, you can just click on a particular event or problem category. It will give you a summary of or overview of what is this attack and how it has been detected. Basically gives you an idea of how the source occupancy and the destination occupancy is in the network. Source occupancy is nothing but the combination of source IP to source port, and same way the destination IP is destination occupancy is the ratio of source IP to destination IP to destination port, right? So it also gives you the information about the top offenders, top targets for the specific attack. It also shows you the traffic source from where the attack is being initiated, and the unique connections which are falling under this kind of this attack properties. And finally, the important one is the fields based on which this attack is being defined as an attack. Okay, so one of more important thing here is like we have the default set of thresholds set for each problem events, by which is by default 100. So only if an event happens 100 times continuously, only then it will be identified as an attack in the attacks page. Not only that, this is a common overall attack view from the overall data or the informations that we are being monitored in the NetFlow Analyzer application. You can see the attack details based on each device and each interfaces as well, that you can view it under inventory. Here, when you click on a specific device, you will see the attacks information. When you click on the attacks tab, you will see what are the attacks related to this specific device. Same way, you can do it, you can view it for a specific interface based as well. When you click on the attacks, you will see the interface based attacks as well, right? And here by an additional information wherein we can get not only to view the information, we can even set up and edit the thresholds for each of the algorithms that we have. You can manage algorithms, you can manage the resources based on which you want to detect the attack, and you can create the alert profiles as well to generate alerts whenever there is an security event happens for any kind of problem categories. So you can select based on which you want, which algorithm you want to detect and get the alerts, and schedule, configure the threshold based on which you want to get the alert, and you will receive the alerts on regular basis based on the real time data collection that we're doing for the NetFlow Analyzer, right? Just quickly jump on to the presentation. Right. So I hope the advanced security analytics module was the information that which was provided was helpful to you. This is one of the most important feature that we highlight so that you can easily identify, detect, and plan your security strategy to protect your network. So let's get into one of the use case, like how do you plan bandwidth requirement and how to limit the usage of non-business application. So this we can do with our reporting features that we have. I'm sorry. So we have two kinds of reports which can help you to plan the capacity and even do the forecasting. So here that the screenshot as you can see is an forecast report. In the forecast reporting, basically what it's an ML based reporting that we have in NetFlow Analyzer application. So what I mean by that is like we forecast the future based on the past trends for a specific interface. So this forecasting is completely based on the past data collection that's been happened for a specific interface or an IP group, and we detect the what will happen, what can happen for a specific period of time in future based on the past trend. So this will give you an idea, and we have identified and we have tested this forecasting feature, and we have confirmed that this is based on the past data that we have, amount of past data that we have. This is an 80% accurate forecasting. Okay, so when you see or when you look into the forecast report, you will get an you can get an idea of how your bandwidth utilization or consumption will be if your trend is going to be in the same way as it was being there for the past period of times, right? So for each time selection, like if you select a week, you'll read out the last month or previous month of that many informations that we will collect. We will read the and do the analysis, and based on that, we will plot the forecasting. So let me show you this information quickly in the UI. So you can access all our reports and from the reports tab, and here under reports you can see the report called forecast report. Okay, here you can create the forecasting based on these many sources like the interface, IP group, interface group, even for the access point and SSID groups and the devices, SSID groups. Okay, let me just select an interface and generate this, just give you an example of this forecasting information. So when you select an interface, you can do the forecast based on speed, volume, or utilization. We have the business or filter and exclude beacon. And as you can see here, so we have these many options to do the forecasting for the next 7 days, 15 days, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. Okay, so when I do for the last 7 days, when it generate the report, it will read out my past trend, past data, and it will give me what will be my next 7 days of consumption and what will be the trend for the same. Okay, this is a greater information. Even you can see the show history option, and it will show you what is the history that we have detected and how we have defined the forecasting, right? So this is one of the important feature which will allow you and plan the capacity of your network and for the applications. The next important topic or the reporting feature that we have to detect the application growth trend is the capacity planning report feature that we have in the product. The capacity planning report is one of the important report, which is again, we can say as an ML based reporting, which analyzes the trend of application growth and the traffic trend that's been there for on that specific interface. So whenever we generate these kind of reports, uh, if you have if you have more data, you will get more accuracy on these reports. Okay, so when you see here, so when we talk about this capacity planning report, we get the we show you the detailed idea about how your traffic is a trend is on day-to-day basis for a specific interface or IP group or interface groups. like different sources where we collect and store the data, from where we collect and store the data. And not only that, we give you an idea of how your application growths are, by which you can easily identify whether your business critical applications are getting impacted, or whether it's your non-business critical applications are which are getting huge, which are utilizing huge amount of bandwidth from the network. Let me just quickly show you this in the UI. So again, since it's a reporting feature, we have it under reports, capacity planning report. And here we can select the source based on which you want to generate the report. Let me just select an interface for the moment as selected device. And I can select for what time period I want to generate the report. So one of the important highlight for this reporting is capacity planning report is like this can be used for not only for the reporting purpose, but for the various different purposes. Like as you can see, the traffic graphs that is shown here for the capacity planning report is generated in 1 minute average for any time period. If you generate this capacity planning report for a specific interface, for any time period you generate this capacity planning report, the bandwidth graphs will be generated with 1 minute average. Not only that, you can definitely you can get an idea on your capacity planning, but also you can do the on-demand bill generation. So we have the generate bill option here, which you can, if like you are an ISP, or if you want to plan, like you bill your departments or different department based on their usage of bandwidth, you can immediately create a bill plan based on the currency and the taxes, include the taxes, and it will immediately give an output with a cost by calculating the utilization or the usage of bandwidth that's been happening, right? So the main thing is how we detect and how we help you to plan your capacity. Right? So when you just scroll down, you will identify what are the data points and how the daily trend of usage. If you have selected a higher time period for to generate this report, your daily usage trend will be a more clearer report. So right now it's since having only 1 week, so 1 day, so we have showing only 1 point here. Next is how is the application growths are happening here in this particular interface. We have only one of the application which is being used, which is an file transfer application, and we can see only just that growth. Okay, so we can edit this, and we can even look in for a different interface to get an clear idea. All right, let's see. So here we have this application growth, and we show you what are the top applications are being utilized for the selected time period for both in and out direction, and how the growth of the application on date on the for when you generate on a daily basis or for the today time period, you can see on every 2 hours how your application growth is, right? So you can see at what time which application is being utilized more. So you can easily identify the trend of usage of the different applications and how much bandwidth they are utilizing on each analysis, on each growth analysis that we are doing here. So this report can also be scheduled for daily, weekly, and monthly basis to be generated automatically. This can be exported on demand as in PDF, CSV, or it can be emailed as an email report. Not only that, you can generate this not only for a specific interface, you can do it for IP groups, interface groups, WLC devices, access point groups, and the SSID groups as well. Next important topic that we are going to talk about is traffic shaping. So once you identify your bandwidth, once you get a visibility on your bandwidth utilization, and once you have identified using the capacity planning how whether your business critical applications are there getting affected, or whether it is because of the non-business critical application, you might now have to create certain rules or like block certain IPs which are which are accessing your bandwidth unwantedly, or create a shaping rule or like an QS policy onto your device or for an interface to allow give more bandwidth to your business critical application or to specify certain DSCP marking for such applications to get prioritized over the other topic, right? So this kind of action can be done within the NetFlow Analyzer application itself. So NetFlow Analyzer application allows you to create access list, both standard and extended access list from the application itself, and also allows you to create service policy by allowing you to add the classes and add policies specific to an interface of a device, thereby giving you the opportunity to control the bandwidth utilization based on the analysis that's been done, already been done with the various different reports that we provided you in the application, right? So service policy option is only available for the Cisco devices, but the access list can be created for various different device vendors as well. Okay, so let me just show you this in the UI. So when you go under inventory, uh, one of the important thing is like for this is an integrated feature, the access list and the service policy is an integrated feature in NetFlow Analyzer application, for which basically you need the NCM add-on NCM option in the NetFlow Analyzer application. NCM is nothing but the network configuration manager, which is basically an configuration management application tool which manages the configurations changes and gives you and allows you to do push configuration uploads and configuration changes to your network device. So we use NCM and we have integrated NCM within NetFlow Analyzer application, and which allows us to execute some of or do some management activities or management changes onto the network devices to like to create policies and access lists, right? So first thing for this to work is like you need to for a service policy to work is like you need to add the device in the network configuration manager add-on feature, and you have to provide the proper credentials like the SSH credentials for the device, because we will get the access to the device with the help of this connection only. So you can use multiple options. There are different type of protocols that we can use, which is like SSH, SSH, SCP, SSH, TFTP, Telnet, and Telnet TFTP. All these options are available in the product. So you have to just provide the correct, proper SSH credentials. Normally, when if you select the SSH SN protocol, that will provide the like the login sequence. When you just log into the device using PuTTY, you will provide your username, then your password, and it will prompt fall under either the hash prompt or the greater than prompt. If it is falling under the hash prompt directly, that's in the enable mode, you don't have to provide the enable password or the username. But if it is falling under the greater than prompt, where you need to provide the enable password, you need to just provide the enable password and just click on save and just do a backup. So once the backup is successful and the test is successful, you will be able to use the feature that we have to create the service policy or an access list on a particular device. So when you are here, so how you can do that is, again, let me just navigate again. So from inventory, you can click on the device. Like this is one of the example device that I have right now, which is a Cisco router. And you can click on the green icon on the right hand side top. When you click on it, you will have the option to create service policy and the access list, right? So when you click on the service policy, here we will fetch, basically what we'll do in the background is we'll connect to the device using SSH, and we will fetch the existing policies that has been already configured, okay? And you can either delete them or you can apply them right now, or you can create, you can add new policy and add new class. So we have the option to create the classes, the match classes and the no match classes. Uh, Not only that, with all this criteria options, and you can have multiple criterias for, you can assign multiple criteria for each class, okay, based on DSCP protocol precedence, access group, and class, even a subclass map as well. Okay, so once the class has been created, you can create a policy by clicking on the add policy option. So add policy option will allow you to select which class you want to put in, what is the policy name, and so what action or criteria that has to be performed based on which you want to execute the class map, right? So once you do that, you can apply this to a specific interface of the device. It will allow you to set up for like both either in direction or the out direction. And once you do that, it will start taking, we will just push this configuration to the device immediately, and it will start taking the action. And the next point is also I'll show you the access list as well. So when you click on the ACL option, it will basically bring in the information of the what are the various different access lists which are already been configured. You can either delete them or apply them, or you can add the new access list as well, both for the standard and extended for permit and deny criterias. Okay, so once your policies are being applied to resolve certain issues that you have identified, then the next step will be how to validate the changes that you have done, right? So then you fall under the CBQoS feature in the NetFlow Analyzer application. CBQoS is nothing but the class-based quality of service, which is a Cisco-specific feature that we have in the product, only supported for the Cisco devices right now. And the technology that we use in the capacity planning, in the in the class-based quality of service is SNMP. So basically what we do is we have certain MIPS for fetching this information from the Cisco devices, which we connect to the device, execute those MIPS, and fetch all the policy configurations or the QoS configurations from the device, and show you the detailed idea about the pre-policy, post-policy, and the drops that are happening to the policy. And not only that, we also give you the idea of how the queuing is been happening due to the policies being applied on the interface, right? So let's quickly get to an example so that we can easily understand it. So same. So how to first I'll let you know how we can enable the QoS CBQoS feature for a particular device. So when you click on a device from the inventory devices, in the device snapshot view. So this is a device snapshot view. Okay. So when you click on a device, it will take you to the device snapshot view. And here we have this green icon, which is the hamburger menu. When you just click on that, you will have the option to configure CBQoS. Okay, so once you click on this configure CBQoS, it will ask you to set the polling. So if it will just check whether there is any policies have been applied. If it has been applied, it will show you the policy names here, and you can just set the status as polling and save it. So once the polling status is enabled, we will start polling the information for the CBQoS data from the device using SNMP. So let me just show you the details based on a specific interface, and the CBQoS data can be seen only based on specific interfaces of the device. Okay, so once it's been enabled, when you click on the interface, you will have the tab called CBQoS, the class-based quality of service, as you can see here. So here we have defined the out policy onto that specific interface, and there are some in policies as well, as you can see. So these are some policy names, the class names, and the policy details, which is the parent policy and the child policy. It will show you the details on what is the traffic utilization for each class that's been applied, both like pre-policy, post-policy, and the drop percentages. We show you the information based on the speed as well. What is the speed of utilization for both in and out policies, and the queue, as I mentioned before. So we'll show you what is the queue which is being created due to this policies being applied onto the interface. If there is a huge amount of queues being created, that means there will be more drops happening into the buffer of the device, right? So we need to make sure. So this will help you to validate the QoS policies that has been applied. And not only that, we do have the option to default check the QoS information using the QoS tab, which is a DHCP based QoS detection, which is a default, comes over the flow. Okay, we here in the QoS tab, we detect the DHCP and the TOS information from the flow data, and we show you the conversations falling under the each DHCP and what are the top applications falling under the each DHCP marking that are happening over the flow. Same way for the TOS, the type of service actions as well. So next, we're going to talk about the new features and updates that we have released for the NetFlow Analyzer application. So first, the main one is the application manager integration that we have recently released. So applications manager is one of the ManageEngine product which is used for monitoring your applications, your application infrastructure, basically for various health and performances for your application infrastructure. It can be any kind of applications like your MS SQL, your databases, your cloud environments, cloud applications, or .NET applications, or any different kind of applications which you have in your network can be monitored using this application ManageEngine applications manager. And with the ManageEngine Applications Manager, we have done this integration to fetch the application details that you have already enabled in the Application Manager application for your monitoring purposes in Application Manager, and the DNS details. So what we do is with this integration, basically we fetch the mappings, the application mappings based on the mappings done in your applications manager, fetch all those applications and provide it as in services in the product, and we provide you the auto I'm sorry, fetch option as well. So let me just show you this, and let me show you where you can find this option. So if you are using applications manager, ManageEngine applications manager for monitoring your applications, and also if you are using the NetFlow Analyzer and want to monitor the bandwidth utilized by those applications specifically, you can use this feature for sure. Okay, so when you're under settings, third-party integrations, so we have something called applications manager. So when you click on the applications manager, you have to just provide the application manager IP here and the port number and the API key. So from the admin login, you can get the API key for the applications manager, and we have the option to fetch services, which is the application services that you have configured there, fetch DNS names, and even we can schedule it for every 24 hours, automatic fetching for every 24 hours as well. So what it will do is every 24 hours, we will go and fetch the details. But if you want to, let's say, if you added a new application in the application manager and want to include that in NetFlow Analyzer as well, you can just use the sync now option, and whenever you click on the sync now option, it will immediately sync the information. So basically what we do here is once this sync has been done, so under settings, NetFlow, under mappings, we have we have introduced something called services right now, wherein you will see the services will listed. So let me show you that over here. So under mappings, you will see services. So basically this service, like the Java service, MS SQL, service monitoring. So this all the details we have fetched by the application manager integration. So let me show you the application manager integration as well here. So here in this application manager integration tab, we created this application manager details. So we have provided that detail here. And whenever there is an application being added in this particular application manager server, everything will be fetched, and we can show you the traffic utilization based on the each services, based on each interfaces, as well as based on each service as well. So when you click on the services, it will show you what is the bandwidth utilization for that specific service which are being monitored. And when you click on it, it will show you the overall traffic utilization of that service. And when you click on interface, it will tell you from which interfaces that service is being highly utilized. And when you want to see the conversations, just click on the traffic information and it will take you to the conversation, the top conversations for both the in and out direction for a specific service. So this is one of the important integrations that we have recently done to give you the detailed idea of what is the like monitoring application is one aspect of monitoring, and gaining an access or gaining a visibility of how much bandwidth they are utilizing from the network is another aspect which can be done using the NetFlow Analyzer integration. Right. So the next feature that we have, and the supported editions for this particular integration, is the NetFlow Analyzer Essential Edition, which is starts from 12.5.160, because we have released this feature only from 12.5.160 and above. So anything if you have any versions above the 12.5.160, you can use this specific feature, and the application manager should be in the build. The professional edition should be in the build for 14690 or above. Okay. So we will be providing more options for the NetFlow Analyzer Enterprise Edition, as well as Application Manager and Enterprise Edition integration. Currently, the integration is only with the Essential Edition. Then the latest integration that we have done is OpUtils integration as well. So the OpUtils integration is nothing but what OpUtils is all about is it categorizes with two main concepts, which is one is the IP address management, another one is the switch port management. IP address management uses Nmap to discover your subnets and gives you an idea of how your subnet is being, how your IPs are being utilized. It also helps you to monitor your DHCP services to see what is the lease of an IP and when it's going to expire and all those details. We currently support the Windows DHCP. Same way, we have the switch port mapper, which is another module for which comes under the OpUtils. Switch port mapper is we use SNMP there, and we identify what ports are being used and how the ports are being connected, all those details. Okay, so let me just quickly show you that information and how you can access it. So this is an add-on feature, and we have something called IPAM. So when you click on IPAM here, so you will see the various switch ports and IP subnets that you can discover. So here, one of the example that we have here. So when you click on it, you will know how many IPs are being used in that subnet. So basically, this is the ports, and same way as we have the switch port. We can see it for the IP address. So let me just take you to the IP address management first. So here, this is an IP address management where we have added certain subnets where it will show you how many how many used IPs, the state of the art, and how many transient IPs and how many available IPs are there. So when you click on a specific IP, it will give you the detailed idea of what are the details are connected, or like what is a connected device, and all this information using the Nmap details and more detailed information additional like MAC address or all those information from Nmap, as well as the other features like SNMP as well. Secondary is the switch port mapper. In the switch port mapper feature, as I mentioned, we provide you the detailed idea of how your switch ports are connected and how they are being added. So when you click on a particular switch port, it will give you the details of how many ports are connected, and how many switch ports are connected, and how it's been getting utilized. So let me just show you that. So here, this is one of the switch that we have added. So here you can see there are two used ports, and we have something called port view as well. And this integration for OpUtils, we show you the same port view within the device summary page or device snapshot page under NetFlow Analyzer inventory as well. And the port details, you can just see how many available ports are there and how many unused ports are there, and how many used ports are there. So you can, when you click on it, you can see what is the status of the port, what are the connected IPs and connected device details as well. All this can be reported, can be generated as in reports. So all these reports for NCM and Network Configuration Manager, OpUtils, everything is available under the reports tab as well. Next is the failover. Failover is one of the latest feature that we have released, which is one of the awaiting feature for the NetFlow Analyzer application. So with this failover, we make sure that your application is up and running every time. So with the failover option that we have, it is available only with the MS SQL database right now. If you have the MS SQL as the backend database, you can use this failover, the application failover option, wherein we will be connecting to basically connecting to a virtual IP. We will be creating a virtual IP, and the devices will be exporting the data or traffic to the virtual IP. And behind the virtual IP, we will be having an active and failover server, which will be in connection with each other. Okay, and the database. So we use MS SQL as a database right now, and this will be available only from the latest version of NetFlow Analyzer as well. Next important feature that we have released recently, very recently, in past weeks, is the NetFlow Generator. So NetFlow Generator is one of the feature which allows us to give or claim that we can monitor any device in your network, any network device like router, switches, or firewalls in your network, even if the device do not support any kind of flow export formats like NetFlow or SFlow or JFlow or something like that. In networks, there are many core switches and access level switches which are available, which do not export or which do not have any option to export the flow data for monitoring purposes like your other devices too, like in any other format like SFlow, NetFlow, SFlow, or JFlow, like that. But with this NetFlow Generator feature, we have resolved that particular limitation. So what basically here we do is we have this agent called NetFlow Generator, which you can install it on any machine, and you have to mirror the traffic from your interface of a particular device. It can be from your the main outgoing interface, or it can be if you're going to monitor a switch, you can mirror the traffic from the uplink interface through a span port to the server where the NetFlow Generator is installed. Basically, this NetFlow Generator application is an lightweight application which has no UI. So basically, NetFlow Generator application agent receives this mirrored packets and converts it into the version 5 format, version 5 NetFlow version 5 readable format, and send it to the NetFlow Analyzer application. And in NetFlow Analyzer, we detect this as a device and start showing you the information. So let me just show you the example for it. So here we have this NetFlow Generator. So under settings, we will show you this NetFlow Generator option. So this is one of the generator plugin that we have installed, which is receiving the flows, active flows, and this detected as a device, as you can see over here. So when you see this icon, this is for the NetFlow Generator device. Okay, so specifically we have added this, and when you click on the device traffic here, here we cannot detect based on the interfaces. It can be only based on the overall traffic. So we show you the overall traffic, application, source, destination, conversation, and even the attacks as well for the devices which are not capable of exporting any kind of flow formats. So right now we are in a position to claim that we can monitor any device, any network device in your network for bandwidth monitoring. Next important thing is that we also have the iOS app for NetFlow Analyzer application, which gives you the ability to have your top alerts and statistics in your hand every time. So whenever you want to access, you can easily get into this iOS app option and get to see the top data. So it's only the view purpose. You cannot do any kind of control actions using the mobile app. Finally, in the summary, what we have seen today is basically we have gone through the main concepts of the behavior analysis and the network security. We have seen how the network forensics and the network advanced security analytics module can in combination give you a more visibility and help you to plan your security strategy to mitigate any kind of attack that can hamper your network. We have also seen the forecast reporting and the capacity planning report to have a plan for your bandwidth needs, traffic shaping, and the features like NetFlow Generator, Application Manager integration, and OpUtils, which we have recently released. Now, this is the kind of time for question and answer. So I have received some good questions today. So we will be discussing some of them. Right now, I will not be able to handle all of them, but I have listed out some of the most interesting questions out of the lot, and we will discuss on that. So yeah, here the first question is, can I generate a forensics report for a customized time period? Yes, definitely. You can generate the forensics report for customized time period. So when you go under reports and forensics, we allow you to select different time. You can select the different time uh, based on your requirement, and you can generate the report. But the only criteria here is the forensics report can be generated only for the time period for which the raw data is available. So if you're storing the raw data for 1 hour, then only the last hour information can be generated. If you are having storing the data for a complete day, you can generate maximum for 24 hours like that. The next question, I'm monitoring 4 interfaces in a device, but I need ASAM only for 2 interfaces. Is it possible? Yes, it is definitely possible. So we have the license management. So when you go under settings, under ASAM. So we have something called attack license management, because the attack licenses are also based on number of interfaces. So here you can select which interface you want or which interface you don't want for the security analytics. So when you select on specific interfaces which you don't want to use for the or want to use for the advanced security analytics module, you can just select that in those interfaces alone and click on disable. So once you do that, those interfaces will fall under the disabled state. That means we will not categorize those data for advanced security analytics module from the interfaces which are disabled. So yes, that is definitely possible. Question 3, can we use NetFlow Analyzer only as a mobile app? No, so we cannot use that. As I said, we have this mobile app only for viewing your data. So the main concept of having the mobile app is to get connected to the network and to see and to be active and to be aware of each and every events on the go in your pockets, right? So we can view anytime. You can, whenever you want to see and whenever you have a complaint and you want to get into the details, you can immediately just log in into the mobile app. So only for that purpose we have, but only as a mobile app you cannot use it because we don't have any control actions there. You have to have it installed on a server and from web UI only. A final question, does NetFlow Generator requires a separate license? No, NetFlow Generator don't require any separate license. NetFlow Generator will be like if you have installed a NetFlow Generator, it will be counted as an one interface license, because as you know, NetFlow Analyzer is a interface based licensing. So it will be counted as if like for example, if you have one NetFlow Generator for a specific device exporting the flow, that generator will be counting as one interface basically in the product. So there is no additional license required. It will be counting and will be detecting that specific one interface license based on the number of interface license that you have already purchased for the product. All right, I hope the session was helpful to you and I was able to give you more information on our advanced features in the product. If you're a happy customer, you can definitely help us to grow by giving us your thoughts as in Gartner review. And we not only that, we are giving you $25 gift card for each of your reviews. So if you are using the product already, and if you have good thoughts for us, you can definitely log into this link. I'm sorry, and provide us Gartner, good Gartner rating. So these are some contact details that we have. So we post all our information videos in the YouTube channel that we have, which is Op Manager Tech Videos. You can log in into that YouTube channel, and even you can subscribe it and get access to our day-to-day. We get access to all our information videos from all the managed engine solutions. You can even get into the help for if when you want to access the help document for the NetFlow product. You can just access the help document from the specific link with www.netflowanalyzer.com/help. We are also active on our forum pages, where we have a lot of customers discussing on most of the topics and their requirements, some advanced uh, technologies as well. So you can join into our forum and join into the forum family, and you can have discussions and your doubts cleared out as well. And whenever you want support for NetFlow from NetFlow Analyzer, you can send out email to netflow-support@manageengine.com, or you have the contact numbers to directly call in as well. I hope this session was useful again. So by today, we are going to close this webinar. This is the end of this webinar season. So this is season 4 for the NetFlow Analyzer webinar. I hope this was helpful to you, and we will be coming back with the more webinars, more free webinars and free trainings for NetFlow Analyzer in future. So stay tuned and have a nice day.